Hello, and welcome to Harriet's Custom Computer Art Plus. If you haven't already subscribed, please do, and please don't forget to hit the like button if you find something in the tutorial that is helpful to you. Also, don't forget to hit the bell if you'd like to be notified of my tutorials as soon as they're posted. Tonight I'm going to be showing you how to design the credit card style business card. You can also use the same design to make the birthday invitations that have become pretty popular now. So let's get started. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to make those. First of all, let's start with a blank sheet. And I'm going to go to File, New. I measured my favorite card, capital 1, and that's what I'm going to be doing basically a knockoff replica of today. So the average credit card is 2 1/4 or 2.25 inches tall and 3.75 or 3 3/4 inches wide. So by going into this menu, click on the down arrow, change it to custom. We're going to make our height 2.25, which is of course equal to 2 1/4, and we're going to make the width 3.75, which is equal to 3 3/4 in inches, and hit done. Alright, so now we have our card size. I'm going to start off by putting on grid lines because I want to round off these corners. And I want them to be uniform. So I'm going to go to Size and Position, Alignment Grids, and I'm going to click 2 verticals and 2 horizontals by clicking twice on each button. Now I'm going to bring this over until it lines up exactly with the broken line on the left and right, bottom and top. So I'll go ahead and do that pretty quickly. Ooh, got that one on the first try. If it's looking like it's thick or dark, a dark line, you don't have it lined up. When you line it up, it will just look like the regular lines that are usually around your page. Okay, now we're going to go to Cutout and Picture, add a colored shape, change it to a circle, hit done, and I'm going to just slide it toward the left, and as it gets to both grid lines, it's going to just lock onto them. And I'm going to shrink this down until it's just in the corner, and I'm looking at my card as I do this, so it's pretty much going to be a very small curve. And then I'm going to click on this, hit copy, and I'm going to make 3 more. And I can see that this time they came out to be the same size, which is great. If not, if it looks like these are bigger or smaller than your original, just make 4 of them and delete this one and put all of these into the corners, just like this. Just delete that one, make a 4th copy, because you know all of these will be the same size, and then just put them in position in each corner. And you'll notice as you go toward the corner, it will snap to it. Try not to force it, just kind of ease into it, and it'll snap into that corner without you having to do much work. Now that I have one in each corner, I'm going to go once again to Cutout and Picture, add a colored shape. This time we're going to use a square, or we could use this one, either one, but I'm going to use a square for now. And I'm going to take this all the way over until it's right in the middle, or cutting that circle practically in half. Then I'm going to drag it across the same way to this side, and I'm going to bring it all the way down to the bottom, to my bottom grid line. I'm going to line that up, make sure it's just on the line. Okay, I think it snapped to it that time. Now I'm going to go make one more, add a colored shape by going to Cutout and Pictures, add a colored shape, and I get one more square, and I'm going to do the same thing but on the sides. I'm going to put it in the middle of that circle and try to put it in the middle of this one, slide it across. It should be okay, but if you need to make some adjustments, that's fine too. I'm gonna snap it to that line, and I can see I need to pull this up a little more at the top because I see some white there. So I'm gonna go ahead and click done, and then I'm gonna click on our first rectangle, and I'm gonna just pull it up a little bit so that it will be all the way to the top. Oops, I have the grid line. I can move the grid line now because I'm not going to need it anymore. All I'm doing is making sure that I have this all the way to the top of my circles now that I have my circles on. And I'm just going to move those grid lines out of the way. You can delete them if you want, or if you want to use them to center things, you can leave them around. But otherwise, you can right click on them, hit delete guide, because we don't need I don't need them anymore. But you might want to keep a horizontal one if you want to put things on a straight line. Okay, so now I have my shape of the credit card. You can see it, all these layers, but I'm going to make one cutout so I can make this into one picture. So I'm going to go to cut out a picture with cookie cutter shape, and I'm just going to go near the edge all the way around and get rid of all that's underneath it. Hit next and then done, and now I'm just going to delete all of these just by right clicking and hitting delete on the little menu that comes up. Alright, so I'm going to shrink this down a little bit just so I can see my edges, but whenever you are all designed, and then I'll take these into Cricut Design Space. All you have to do is, once you upload them into Cricut Design Space, put in your dimensions and hit how many. It will show you basically how many you can get on a page in the Cricut. Now, I don't know if some of you have noticed that, but on a few occasions when I had uploaded an image into Design Space, instead of it limiting me to the 6.75 by 9.25, it actually was an 8.5 by 11 inch sheet, which I thought was awesome. But then the next time I went on, it didn't do that. So sometimes I get it, sometimes you don't. And depending on what it shows up when you're in Design Space, it will be determine how many you can get on one page, of course. All right, so let's get started. I cropped out the image for a capital 1, which is this little slash mark, and I'm going to just go ahead and bring that up now into my picture. And I'm going to click on the image so that I can draw this silver metallic finish into it. So I'm just going to go to cutout and picture, fill cutout or picture with a picture, and I'm going to drag up that shiny metallic look and hit done. So now I have my slash here, and I'm going to recreate the logo with my business name. So first I'm going to make a text box. I'm going to change it to italics because that's how the first part is written on my Capital One card. And I'm going to make this Harriet's Custom. I'm going to shrink it down a bit, and then I'm going to make Computer Art Plus in a separate text box because that word is in a thin font. And I'm going to change that to Times New Roman. So I'm going to click on the down arrow, hit T, and then scroll down until I see Times New Roman, and I'm going to shrink this down some. Leave it to me to have a long business name, but it's gonna work out. There we go. And now I'm going to take my splash, and you can see the little openings at the top and bottom. This part goes on the 1, so I'm going to position it and resize it so it fits the C. It goes on the word 1 in capital 1. I guess I could have put it on the P as well, but I think it looks better on the C. Alright, so now I'm going to group all of this. And just move it up a bit. Here are most of the graphics that I'm going to be using on this project. All I did was go to the internet and type in Visa credit card, and it brought up all the credit cards. So I decided, since I was making the Capital One, I was going to use the MasterCard emblem. So I picked out the images that would be on the back of the card, depending on how realistic or authentic looking you want your replica. I saw this little symbol here, and I could have made it exactly like that, but since I don't want to get arrested, I thought that, no, hopefully they wouldn't arrest me, but I thought that I would just use something that looks similar to it. So I just found this world, and now I want to make it look like that one. So I just cut out this. It was just on a white background, filled in with white, and all I did was go to cut out a picture by color selection, and just clicked in the black area to pull out all the black from the white. Then hit next and done. But I've already cropped it out, so I'm just gonna go with my back arrow to get it back where I placed it. And then I just made an extra oval by going to cut out in pictures, add a colored shape, made it into a circle, and just shrunk this down until I fit exactly behind the world image. So I'm going to cancel that as well. I was just showing you how to do the cropping and make it kind of look like this one. And then what I did was I clicked on the black portion, which is showing all the different countries, and I went to cut out in picture, fill cutout or picture with a picture, and then I just dragged up that same silver background because this is actually a shiny symbol. And then I just looked up, because I see the one here has striated, it's like a striated metallic shape, and so I just typed in striated metal on the internet, and it gave me this, and I'm going to use that to make the circle around it. So I have this all set. I'm just going to group it right quickly, shrink it down, bring it to the front so I can have it on top of here. And I think I'll put it more over to this side. I'm going to go ahead and change this to black and white first because it's looking a little purplish. So I'm going to go to Paint and Color Effect, Black and White, which is the last choice, and then make black and white, which is perfect. And this looks a little blue too, so I'm going to run that through the black and white as well. There we go. And now it looks more like a uniform piece. I'm going to shrink this down just a little bit so that it looks about the same distance around as that. I'm going to go to cut out in picture, cut out of picture with a cookie cutter shape. I'm going to make it into a circle. Not as sharp of a circle as this one, the original one that I put around the world. Zoom in a little bit so I can I'm just going to resize this, leave a little extra on the sides so that it will mimic this symbol. Although it won't be exact. I don't want it to be exact. I just want it to mimic. Alright, let's see what that's looking like. That looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and hit done, move that to the side, and I can get rid of these two. For this symbol that is on the front of credit cards, I simply typed in Capital One credit card or Capital One front view, and it brought up some Capital One credit cards, and then I looked for the one that looked the sharpest, copied it, dropped it on this page, and then just used the cut out of picture by color selection to draw out the gray. And I dropped it down to 1 because it was pulling out the grayish, the dark gray background. So I just dropped it down to 1 and then just pulled out all of the gray that I wanted. Next, I'm going to cut out the plus symbol by going to cut out of picture by color selection, and I'm just going to click in each one of these black areas, and I left it on 2 so it'll pull in all of the black and the edges. I'm going to hit next and done, and then I'm going to delete the bottom one. So I have my symbols. So now I have all the symbols I need to work with. So I'm just going to bring up this credit card, lined it up exactly with my card, and now I'm just going to bring up these different elements and drop them in. So I'm going to bring up my little rounded rectangle symbol here, put it where it goes, and resize it. I'll bring up my MasterCard symbol. And you don't have to do this, you don't have to be exact if you don't want to, but just to give it the most authentic look, I think this is the best way to go. And then, let's see, what else do I need from here? Okay, that's all I need for the front. Now I just need to reproduce these letters. So I went to the internet and I typed in credit card font, and it gave different choices. I chose this one, and now I'm just going to pull out the numbers that I need for what information I want on my card. And I'm going to put the date that I started my party supply part of my business. I've been in business since 1992, making business cards and business forms and invitations and things. But I just started this portion, the party supply portion of my business. So I'm going to use the date. It was January 6th of 2019. So I'm going to go to cut out of picture by color selection, and I'm going to take out the 0. Hit done, next, and done, and I'm going to do this for each letter and number that I need. So I'm going to go ahead and also, while I'm in here, I'm going to pull out the letters for my name, because I'm going to put that on there as well. And then once I'm done cutting out all my letters and assembling them how I want them, I will be right back. Now I have the first numbers that I need. I just resized this and put it in the corner, and now I need to line these up on a straight line. So if you didn't delete all your horizontal grid lines, which I did, I'm going to go quickly into size and position, alignment guides, and horizontal guide, and pull a line so that I can line these up straight. So I'm just going to put it at the bottom of the page, and it literally only took me maybe 2 minutes to cut out all of these, if that, but I just wanted to save as much time making this video as possible. And now I'm just going to line up the numbers down here. And as you can see, that the font that I found also gave you all these symbols, so that you will have them. Actually, I need to get one more symbol. I need to get the slash mark, so I'm going to go to cut out of picture by color selection, and I'll pull out that slash mark because I need it now. And then I'll just shrink this down again until I need it again and move it out of the way. This needs to be the same size. So I'll put that here, move this over a little bit for the 2019, and I'll just size it to be, yeah, that's about the same size, and just finish putting my numbers here. That's for the phone number. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut this out by going to cut out in picture with the cookie cutter shape. And I'll cut this out, and this will be my established date for my business. And I'll move that to the side. Now I'll work on my phone number. I'm just going to take all of the single numbers out. I'm going to move this up and then get rid of all of these. All this will save your memory so that you can continue working, because this is an older app. Sometimes the memory will you'll start getting error messages because the memory has filled up. So I just try to minimize that by closing down what I don't need, deleting it from the page. Like some of these I could close out because I won't be needing them again, and all that helps to keep your app running smoothly. I'll delete these and just work on my name. So I'm going to switch back to the card, and I'm going to bring up both of these, the date and my phone number. I'm going to shrink them down so that they're the same size as the card. I can bring that up so that it will give the letters and numbers the metallic sheen, so that they might have this kind of effect like they were punched in, like these are used, or these are punched in, these numbers are punched in. I'll just line these up on both sides with the same amount of space on each side, and that works. And then last but not least, I'll add my name here, and then I'll put established and phone number here in very small font. So I'm going to first go and pull out my name by going back to the font that I was using. I'm going to delete these that I don't need anymore by right clicking, hitting delete, right click, delete, and now I'm just going to pull my name out right quickly, and I'm going to cut that out. Alright, so I'm ready to go back to my card, and I'm going to bring up my name by clicking and dragging it up. And shrinking it down so that it's the same size. And now I'm ready to delete the card that I used as my symbol. I think I'm going to put all of my text together. Now I have all of the information for the front of my card. I'm going to go ahead and line these up with the date. And I'm going to resize these, make so that they'll be a little more readable. Move it back over. And I'm going to add established and phone here. So I'm just going to go to text, add text, and this part was written in Arial, just a plain font. So I'm just going to choose Arial, non-italicized, and it was in white. Shrink it down. I'm going to put established. I'll put that all in caps. Can move it down a little bit. And in that same box, I'm going to type phone. And I'm just going to space over, make that left justified so it won't move. And then I'm going to type phone. And I'll just backspace until I have phone beginning right at the edge of my phone number. And I'll make one more of these boxes by going to copy and paste, and I'll drag it down here, and I'll say graphic artist. Or for this one you could put owner, CEO, whatever terminology you want to use. And now for these fonts, I want to give them a metallic look as well. I'm going to brighten this up a little bit. And then I'm going to go here. And I want to use this, but I want it turned in the other direction. So I'm going to click outside so I don't have any of the quadrant markers. And then I'm going to go to size and position, rotate, and I'm going to flip it where this shiny part is on the top and hit done. Now I'm going to go back to my card. I'm going to save it. I'm going to put a light shadow around this silver symbol just to make it stand out more. Hit done. I'm going to group these, and then I'm going to go to cutout and picture, fill with cutout or picture, click on the picture of the apple, and I'm going to drag that silver up from the bottom. And then I'm going to zoom out a little bit so that I can bring this down so that you will get the two-tone effect inside of the lettering, and just position it to where you think it looks the best. You can pull out some, or you can pull it all the way over so that all of your numbers have the top bright and then the bottom dark. Add a shadow by going to special effects, shadow, and that instantly makes your numbers pop. I'm going to hit done. Then I'm going to do the same thing with my name. I'm going to click on Harriet, then I'm going to click on CTRL button or control and click Homes. I'm going to group them and do the same thing. Go to cutout and picture, fill cutout with the picture, choose the apple, and drag that silver up again. And I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to resize until it gives it the two-tone effect, and then I'll drag it one way or the other until I get it to look similar to the top one. And I think that does it. I'm going to hit done. I'm going to go once again here to special effects, shadow, add a shadow, and so it gives me that edge. I'm going to hit click done, And then I'm going to, while this is still chosen, I'm going to choose the previous text, and I'm going to go once again. I'm going to close it first, then I'm going to go to special effects, and I'm going to add another shadow, which is going to make it even darker and stand out more. And now I'm going to go to special effect sharpen, just to sharpen it a little bit more. So that's all we needed for the front. I'll save this, and then we'll work on the back. Just like I did for the front, I'm going to bring up the back of the card. I'm going to line it up again with my card. And I'll stretch it a little bit to make sure it's lined up correctly. Then for this strip here, I'm going to go to Cutout and Picture, add a colored shape. It's a square. I'm going to click on More Color Options and just click in the middle of that bar so that I get it this exact same color. And now I'm just going to line it up with the top of that bar. Bring the bottom up to line up with the bottom of the bar and drag it across. Now I'm just going to bring up my logo from beneath this card by clicking on it and just dragging it up to the top so I can use it here on the back. And since it's so long, I don't want it shrunk down like to put it right there. So I'm just going to put it down here since I'm not going to be putting all this extra information anyway. Now if you have an actual business address, you could of course put it there. But I'm just going to put my logo again, and the world little symbol that I made, I'm going to click on my sample page and drag it up, resize it, and put it in the spot. I'm going to drag up the plus, resize it, so everything will be in the same place except for my logo. And then here I can put my web address by going to text, add a text box, pasting, changing the color, hit done, and I'll resize it. And some of these things I'm going to move around because I want to keep them large enough to be seen. So I'm going to put this right under my strip. And I'll add website. And then I could put in this little area here. I can just make that up on my own. I can have Facebook and Instagram symbols here. I'm struggling with not going with symmetry, and symmetry 1. I want this in the middle. So I'm going to put that in the middle, and then I'm going to make up a mock strip by just pulling in a white, going to Cutout and Picture, add a colored shape, making it white. Actually, that has a little hue to it, so I can actually reproduce that hue, but I think it's just because that's worn out. It's probably more white, so I'm going to brighten it up more. But I won't make it completely bright white. I'll make it the same size. And then what I'm going to do is just make my HCCP logo by going to text, add text. I'm going to stick with this font and I'm going to type HCCP. Hit done. I'm going to turn it at an angle. And then I'll shrink it down some. I was going to make it bigger, but changed my mind. And I'll just duplicate it a couple of times like that. And actually, now I can group these and just keep reproducing these. I can get rid of this background now. And I'm going to pull my card up until I'm just under what I need on this page, which is right there. And I'm just going to change them all to different colors by going to Paint and Color Effect, fill with a solid color, and just choosing a color. And once I come up with a pattern, I'll just repeat that pattern. So I'm going to click on every other one, and I'll change those all to red. And I'll continue this until I have all of them colored. Now I'm just going to cut out my strip by going to cut out of picture with the cookie cutter shape, and I'm just going to crop out just the portion of the white with the wording in it. With the lettering in it. And then I'll delete the rest. Move this over for now so I can just get rid of all of those letters at once. But I'm going to keep the strip, and I'll just cut all of those at once. Now I'll bring my strip back. Click on the white box by itself and bring it over, because there was a separate white strip at the end with nothing on it. And I'll make that bright white so it'll show a differentiation. And now you have your completed business card, or your sublimation card for making supplies. And I'll put them on the same page so you can see the front and back view. Remember, if it freezes, click on anything, open it up, don't make any changes, hit done, and you can free it up and move it again. So you have your front and back of the card, and a lot of cards nowadays have a picture. If you wanted to replace this with a picture, you can. I'm going to go ahead and actually the shadow makes these look embossed. I was going to put a shadow behind the established and owner, but that's usually just flat on the card. But if you wanted to add a different background, like a beach scene or something like some of the cards have, and this would also look good with an abstract background like I showed you in making a business card. So I'm going to show you how this would look with an abstract background. I'm going to first paste the background that I want to use, resize it, then I'll click back to my business card page or my sublimated credit card page. I'm going to click on that background, go to cutout and pictures, fill cutout or picture with a picture, and I'm going to drag up that abstract. I'll resize it a bit, darken this a little bit to make the letters pop even more. And now I'm going to change this background to just one that complements this portion of the card by going to the paint and color effects, fill with a solid color, and I'm just going to click up here to find a nice corresponding color that I like, just like they would on regular credit cards. And I think that looks good with it, and I'll hit done. And now you have a brand new look. I'm going to go ahead and group these by going to special effects, shadow, and I'm just going to pull it down a little and to the side. Take some of the softness off of it, not that much, just a little there. Click done. Thank you for stopping by Harriet's Custom Computer Art Plus. Please remember to subscribe and to leave a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time.